is trying to charge. Hello family, welcome once again to another episode on my YouTube channel. The video we are watching right now is the remains of Nottoway Plantation in South Louisiana. This has made majority of black Americans rejoice as it was the largest remaining plantation of black slavery since the 18th century. Many believe this place is cursed and its burning down is because black ancestors crying out their pain from the torture they received before they died. The videos we are about to watch is black people rejoicing as their ancestors have duly revenged. So sad the white community is feeling the pain as most of them get married there as the Nottoway Plantation was turned into a historical cottage. Let's watch and listen carefully.
So the Nottoway Plantation passed away. You got some people upset about it, you know what I'm saying? And you got some people very excited and extremely happy. I'm not here to express either one of those things. I just want to give you a little history of the house. I heard somebody say something about the house being owned by descendants of slaves. And that's just not true anymore. Sometime in the 1800s, the original owner of the plantation died. I think his name is John Hamden Randolph. And the inheritor of the house was his mistress, Emily Randolph. And then her children started dying of like malaria and yellow fever. Crazy. I don't know why that was happening. But anyways, due to financial hardship, she had to sell the house. I mean, she had just lost like 2-3 of her kids, within like a 5-year span, so she sold the house out of the family. So nobody was inheriting that house within that family at all. And she sold it for so cheap, she was trying to get rid of it. You know what I mean? And then slaves wasn't on it after that. So the idea that the slave plantation had slaves on it after the original owner died is false.
I don't know why the hell the news keeps showing me that damn plantation burning down. Not a way, not a how, not a I don't give a fuck. Let it burn. Fuck you keep coming on the news showing me. And at this moment, we have this live plantation here burning and behind us. I don't give a fuck. Let it burn. Fuck you mean you got it burning behind us? Let the shit burn. It's burning for a reason, damn it. Burning all them demonic spirits out that motherfucker. Give a fuck. Fire. Fire. Let that shit burn, man. If y'all don't go about y'all motherfucking day, it's other fires to handle out there. It's more important shit to do than to be worried about a damn slavery plantation burning to the ground. The shit need to. The fuck? You know how much racism and wickedness went down in that motherfucker? Don't nobody give a fuck about that plantation burning. Y'all can rebuild the shit, burn it again. I don't give a fuck. Let it burn. The only people mad about that damn plantation burning down is racist white folks. Uncle Tom's too. Motherfuckers, my great-great-grandfather used to pick cotton over there for those white folks. Yeah, y'all motherfuckers, all y'all can burn.
Our ancestors is jumping in joy right now. What a beautiful sight this is, y'all. Isn't this a beautiful sight? When I seen this, I was like, bye. We ain't gonna miss you. First thing that came to my mind was Usher. I'm like, let that bitch burn. So for the people that don't know, this was the Nottoway Plantation in Louisiana, the largest remaining antebellum mansion in the U.S. Was the largest. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. This joint had to go. This house right here then enslaved over 300 people. Our ancestors. This joint had 64 rooms and it took up 53,000 square feet. I'm glad it's gone. Let me get some GGs down in the chat if y'all feel how I feel. Like, I don't give a fuck about this bed burning. Let it burn. So y'all don't get it? America loves to preserve the parts of the history that they're proud of, but they always want to cover up the truth.
Hey y'all, it's Neil with the Black Wall Street Times. Listen, Nottoway Plantation, the largest surviving slave mansion in the South, has burned to the ground. And while some might call that a tragedy, many Black people see it differently. That mansion was built by enslaved Black people, our ancestors. They were beaten, starved, and forced to work under brutal conditions just to construct that massive home so the slave owner could live in luxury. Fast forward to recent years, and that same plantation was turned into a wedding venue. People were saying "I do" on the same soil where our people were chained, tortured, and killed. No reparations, no justice, just profit off of our pain. But now, that house no longer stands, and to some of us, it feels like a small bit of justice. It feels like our ancestors finally had the last word. Maybe the wind carried their cries back to the land. Maybe the fire was a message. You will not keep erasing our suffering. You will not keep celebrating what was built on our backs. That plantation wasn't sacred. It was haunted. And maybe, just maybe, with it gone, the land can finally begin to heal and our ancestors can rest a little easier. So no, we're not mourning. Let it burn, because sometimes ashes feel like freedom. Peace, y'all.
Lord Jesus, it's a fire. Fire. Woo, 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 woo. Nottoway Plantation down there right underneath Baton Rouge, home to 150-some slaves, is burning to the ground. Thank you, ancestors. Mind you, people love this God-forsaken, evil-ass place. Look at this place, it's the shit they got on this property, y'all. They got the nerve to call this fucking cursed ground a damn resort. It was owned by John Randolph. May he burn in hell continuously. And all his fucking family members. And I hope some of them on this page right now. I don't know if the ancestors wanted to remind us to keep up the good fight of faith or what. Nigga, I ain't never been so happy to see smoke billowing. God damn it. Look at the beautiful, beautiful footage. I know. Some of y'all say, Darian, this is a historical landmark. Fuck this historical landmark. Burn, baby, burn. That's where it's located. God bless you, ancestors. God knows I wish we could have been there to put something on the grill when this bitch burnt to the ground. Here's to many more burning up. Fire.
You know, America's a very strange place, and I think one of the best pieces of evidence in support of that is the way that we treat plantations. I know the comparison gets drawn a lot. I won't even make the comparison. You know what it is. But it is so insane. The way that people go for picnics on plantations, the way that they get married on plantations, the way they aspire to live in plantations in this country. If there were... This country is not apologetic. Let me put it that way. But anyway, the largest historical plantation in Louisiana just burned down the other day. And I see a lot of people celebrating. And I understand why. From an energetic perspective, this feels like a release. It also feels very reminiscent of one of the scenes in Sinners, which, you know, crazy timing. But from a historical preservation perspective, I actually think it's quite concerning and kind of reflects a lot of the other forms of erasure that are happening in this country, in our educational systems, in our museums, in our laws. I mean, This is actually quite sad. You know, there are people here and today who deny that the slave trade ever happened because of the lack of slave ships available for viewing in museums or just preserved generally. You know, this whole joke about redheaded white people being black people spiraling into a situation where people are actually trying to assert that redheads have a similar shared historical and cultural context. You know, these jokes get taken more seriously as the reminders of what the reality of this country is continue to fade away, both intentionally and passively, under the weight of time and under the weight of oppressive regimes. Like, even the word plantation itself functions as a euphemism to some degree in my mind and as a tool of erasure. Like, there were work camps all across this country and across this half of the planet where we were bred like animals, assaulted, murdered for fun, right? Eaten, turned into chairs and purses, exploited for labor generation after generation after generation after generation after generation after generation. And people can get married there, put the wedding photo up in their office, and not expect anyone to bat an eye. That's America.
I don't understand why y'all don't understand that Black Americans don't give a flying fuck that a plantation burned to the ground in 2025. That thing was built in 1859 by enslaved Black folk who were considered property. We don't care.
Are there really white people that are upset Nottoway burned down? Are y'all okay? This country does not take slavery seriously enough. That shit was called a resort. They call Nottoway a resort, y'all. Yeah. And you probably hear people be like, you wouldn't have a wedding at Auschwitz. That's because for us, it's the same thing. Y'all are sad about that. If you truly care about the history, like actually, go to Whitney Plantation. They actually talk about the actual history and preserve it. So if you think you know how bad slavery was, you probably don't. Unless you're black, because we talk about it. But yeah, like what you see in movies and what we talk about in school and like what's in the like documentaries sometimes is not nearly as bad as it actually was. They used to eat us and make us into furniture. Like our skin, yeah. So it's worse than you think. That's also why I don't shop for antiques. So
As a black person that grew up on a plantation in South Louisiana, it does not shock me at all seeing how sad white people are acting over this Nottoway plantation burning down. I used to ask my mama them same questions I see y'all asking in them different comment sections. Why do white people crave to get married on plantations? Anytime there was a wedding at the plantation, we used to work it. And as soon as I got old enough to tell my mama I didn't want to do that shit no more, I stopped doing that shit. Because anytime I was over there at the big house, whether I was running, hunting, fishing, walking, or either I needed to go over there and take a bath, because the lights would never go out there. No matter Gustav, Katrina, if our lights went out, those lights over there at that plantation house were 100% guaranteed to be on. But anytime I was over there, I felt like somebody was watching me. Sometimes when I would be running over there late in the evening or at night, it would look like figures were standing in the windows, my eyes tearing up even talking about the shit. A bunch of people even got kidnapped over there. I don't know if this was the 70s or the 80s.
To the white people that are so fucking mad that we don't give a fuck about that Nottoway fucking plantation that was just burned down, fuck you. First of all, why the fuck would we give a fuck about a plantation that our ancestors were slaved on, murdered, hung, beat, raped, and forced into fucking labor, forced to pick fucking cotton as they hands bleed? Bitch, we don't give a fuck that y'all mad. Let that motherfucker burn. And to all the people that say, oh, it's for the history, we humbly decline. Fuck that history, because y'all done played in our face too fucking long. Y'all talking about history when, bitch, all we see is fucking movies about slavery. This, oh massa, oh come on massa. How many fucking Root movies was it? Did we even need all them fucking Root movies? Write it down, take a picture, but we didn't need that fucking plantation to be standing that fucking long anyway. Thanks, Annabella.
Did y'all hear about the Nottoway plantation in Louisiana burning down? For context, if you don't know, that was one of the largest slave plantations. They done turned the shit into a resort, had people getting married there. You could chill by the pool and everything. And even the tour guide, when I'm looking at what the tour guide is talking about and stuff, talking about something, yeah, when he would buy one slave, he would buy the entire family. That's good for them. That was good for them. Ain't none of that was good for nobody. Why are y'all romanticizing slavery? What? It's tea. Y'all try to make money off anything. And for the people supporting, why would you want to go to a slave plantation knowing all of our pains and struggles from our ancestors? Why the fuck would you want to go get married there? Why? Like, hey babe, where you want to get married? Go pick out the wedding venue. I'm gonna go for the Nottoway plantation. Yeah, that's the one. I'm glad that shit burnt down. Don't try to renovate it either. Leave it alone.
So apparently there's this video going around of the Nottoway plantation on fire. And it's got TikTok and other social media platforms in shambles. But what they don't mention about the Nottoway plantation is so obvious. Look at the name Nottoway. Nottoway Plantation is named after the Nottoway tribe. And one of the older owners is part of the Randolph family. I believe his name is John Randolph. And they migrated from Virginia. So a bulk of these so-called black slaves that they had on the Nottoway plantation are actually former members of the Nottoway tribe. So descendants of the Nottoway tribe were enslaved
and they were taken with the Randolph family to Louisiana to this plantation called Nottoway Plantation, ironically named after their tribe and the land that was originally stolen from their tribe to make the original Randolph plantations in Virginia. So I see all these people making these videos. They don't know what they're talking about. I'm like, oh, the descendants of the enslaved Africans are burning down the plantation. Where's your proof that these people were enslaved Africans? But we have proof that that land that the Randolph family took in Virginia was on Nottoway land, right? And they enslaved Nottoway indigenous people on their own land, which there's proof. I showed y'all for years. There's proof all through Virginia, and I'm pretty sure through other southern states and northern states that these plantations are built on indigenous towns, okay? Most of them are built in indigenous towns. So you can follow that paper trail and see that a lot of these slaves, which they tell us that the majority, 80%, over 80% of the slaves were domestic, quote unquote, which means they were from America, right? They try to make it seem like, oh, it was Africans born in America. Some of them might be, or they might be mixed with Africans born in America, but a lot of them were indigenous, and they never speak about the indigenous slaves. And they try to make our grandparents and people who said they were Indian look crazy because they said they have enslaved ancestry as well, but they never talk about what they call the other slavery. They never talk about indigenous slavery. So a lot of the people are right. A lot of them are right, and there's documented proof that the location of these plantations are old Indian towns. They call them Indian town on the maps, or old town. Okay, so y'all can look all this stuff up, but Nottoway Plantation is named after the Nottoway Indians, and this is something big that people are skipping over, especially these Afrocentric and these Eurocentric scholars, quote unquote. So y'all go look into that for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Look into the name Nottoway. Look into the not the culture, but the story of the Randolph family and other families like the Epps, and it's a whole bunch of families that migrated from Virginia, but their original land was on top of these old villages or these old towns. Okay, where they took over the whole town and they enslaved the majority of the people who couldn't flee, or the people who wasn't traded away, or the people who didn't convert to Christianity and be part of this society, which a lot of our free people of color ancestors did. They became Christians. We got a lot of reverends. I know I have reverends in my family. They became Christians to protect themselves so they can still have a lot of that culture underground. So y'all please look into that.
After watching the videos above, we get to a conclusion. Black folks are happy by the burning down of Nottoway Plantation. Now their ancestors can stay at peace and rest well. This turnaround event has sparked controversy, with the white Americans feeling they have lost a really precious building as the plantation served them on different occasions. Are you happy with the event, the burning? Let me know what you think about this on the comment section below, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Thank you, family. Bye.